Why do we always feel that the Western powers are no longer viable? In fact, this few Western powers are still very powerful. The current G7 is just like the 8-power allied forces back then, still dominates the world's economic and military situation. If you take away China's medal, it's still occupied by these Western powers. If you don't believe, you can see the contrast between great powers and ordinary countries. The Spear fought against Britain, the global hegemon at the time. And now, with the support of drone AI stealth technology, African countries have almost no way to fight back against great powers. It's completely unilateral crushing. At least a chance of survival. But now, under attack from aircraft carrier formations and drone colonies, no matter how many people are, they're just a living target. In fact, the great powers still stand at the top of the world, can easily affect the fate of 80 of the world's countries. Let me tell you a few unexpected facts. First, as a superpower, India cannot even guarantee stable production of bullets. Second, in China, the bags we use to hold fertilizers, 80 of the world's countries cannot produce. Third, Iran, known as an industrial power in the Middle East, still using aircraft that the United States eliminated in the last century. For most countries, great powers are an insurmountable peak. If you offend them, let alone military strikes. Economic sanctions alone can quickly plunge many countries into energy. The plight of food shortages, living standards have fallen back decades. For them, the great powers are not only still strong, it's like the god of the new era. The reason why we feel that the great powers are no longer viable, largely because of China. For example, some time ago suspension of urea exports to South Korea. Russia and Ukraine are in tight supply of artillery shells. So the United States asked South Korea to increase production to support Ukraine. We did not protest after learning the news. Instead, it simply suspended urea exports to South Korea. Without urea, South Korea cannot make the synthetic ammonia needed for artillery shells. Indirectly affected the situation on the Russian-Ukrainian battlefield. Another time we stopped exporting nitrocellulose to Europe. Nitrocellulose is necessary to make gunpowder. As a result, European artillery production was immediately limited, which means we don't even have to use force. Improved military production capabilities in the United States and Europe. It's conceivable that without our resources, as we all know, China and the United States started off with large drone routes. High-end models such as the Global Hawk thought they would become the protagonists of the future battlefield, but it was discovered only after the outbreak of the Russia-Ukraine war. Hundreds of dollars worth of drones can destroy. The million-dollar enemy tanks and fighter jets are extremely cost-effective. The United States can't compete with us in this regard. It costs $94,000 to produce one in the United States, and we can make it with just a few hundred yuan. But they are reluctant to take radical action. If you don't believe me, take a look at the following data. Statistics from 4 institutions show that as of 2023, the next 9 countries are all former powers, but together, they are not as good as the total industrial volume of our country. Let's talk about power generation and steel production. The United States produces only half of our electricity. India's steel production is only 1/7 of ours. Our country has 54% of the world's steel production capacity. Once a war breaks out, other countries will not be able to fight it. Not only that, as of 200 to 1,000, 470 of global ship orders are in China. More than 80 of smartphones in the world. Automotive uses and game consoles are also produced in China, even cars that were once a strong point in Europe and the United States. Even Musk said that without tariff protection, China's electric vehicles will occupy the entire market. What is even more exaggerated is that this is only the tip of the iceberg of China's strength. Light industry and high technology and other entire industrial chains. We have almost all the results of the industrial revolution of mankind over the past few centuries, and obvious technical and cost advantages. Because of this, we feel that the great powers are no longer viable. In 1949, the United States already had the atomic bomb, and we can't even build a tractor. In 1916, the United States successfully landed on the moon, and we can't even make our own ballpoint refills. But the United States has difficulty returning to the moon. This comparison of strength makes us feel that the United States is no longer viable. 95 of countries in the world cannot even build their own aircraft. 70 of the world's people have never flown on a plane in their lives. And China is now preparing to land on the moon. They all think America is failing. I only lament that China is so powerful that it can compete with the world hegemony. In their eyes, this is the United States once landed on the moon.